Hi, I'm Annette Pang, co-founder of Living Manoa and Caring Manoa, two beautiful, loving care homes for seniors in Honolulu, Hawaii. I have noticed through over 10 years of working with seniors that they really want to tell their stories, and we need to harvest it at certain times of the day, certain moods that they're in. And if you spend a little time and if you know some background and how we can manage some of the situations that may come up, you'll be able to successfully gather these stories. I have a very, very good friend. Her name is Todd King, and I just want you to know that her family gave me this scarf, and they just gave it to me about a week ago. And this was when they were celebrating her burial and her life in both Montana and Honolulu. And their family was so interested to hear all the stories that I told them and how they were really able to find out more about their mom that they never guessed was possible. Well, after I told them the story, I wished that I had a journal so that I could tell them things more comprehensively than just the stories I knew. So just for that purpose only, to share with the families who was so hungry to hear actual words and stories about their mom, I want to do this for the rest of you. I have some frequently asked questions that are often kind of at the top of people's minds, but why they might not approach this. One question is, why can't I talk easily to my parent, to my mom and dad, to my loved one? Well, it's really good to know that they were once vibrant, lively people before, and they have personalities that they're born with and that they die with. That never changes. Behavior can be changed and modified, but never personality. So if you have a person who is a director type of personality, got things done, very efficient, very abrupt, person of few words, that person won't change. So if you're recording journal entries from them, that's going to be maybe a sentence or two. Don't expect just because they're now 70, 80, 90 years old, it's going to turn into some flowery language. Another is to realize there might be a socializer who they just like parties. So the way to approach your senior is through maybe some activity that has a lot of people around them. Or another one is if your senior has been a feeling kind of person. You might approach the person with more about, I feel so strongly that this is going to be wonderful for us. Or if a person is a thinking personality, take that into consideration. That the person will say, well, why do you want to do this? You might say, well, how are you going to communicate with your great-great-grandchildren to tell them your legacy? A second question might be, what can I do to kind of get them in the mood? Are there icebreakers? How can I get the bonding and rapport going? I have answers for that. One is we do a lot in our care home tapping, just tapping to release. And as we're tapping, we say, oh, our beautiful face, and I love you, and I love me. And these kinds of physical exchanges to release the energy and the tightness and the stress is a really good icebreaker. I have more icebreakers to share later. A third frequently asked questions is, how do I approach my senior and how do I get them to really be in the mood to do this? Well, with the journal, I can't tell you how this tool, which is decorated very well, will be able to be seen by your loved one, touched, felt, to know the importance of it. And if you can get them to agree to share with you, that's the first step. To say, isn't this a beautiful journal? It's full of blank pages, and we want to personalize this for you. So let's write this together. Just say, do you want to do this together with me? I would love it. If you get their agreement, then you can start agreeing on time, place, when they want to do it, and it's a shared mutual activity. Another frequently asked question would be, why should we do this? Well, the answer is really pretty obvious looking at the way people from Ancestry.com are looking up relatives and family trees that go back many, many generations and find linkages. If you were able to go back in generations and hear the actual words that someone said, that would be awesome, because you would know how they thought, how they spoke, what was important to them, what ticked them off, what made them happy and gave them joy. Having this is like, don't think of it as short, open-ended, small, little journal. It is a legacy that can be shared forever. And you have the courage to go ahead and capture this. Another frequently asked question is why won't my seniors take me seriously? How can they look at me and they always think of me as kind of the daughter who didn't have a job or daughter who was too busy? How can they start taking me seriously? Well, you can again sit down, look at the journal, talk about how so-and-so has received so many great comments, how somebody else wants to hear about what you have to say. That is enough motivation for us to go ahead to capture these stories and to impress upon the senior how important it is. You might say, why can't I communicate? Why is it that we are not making headway? Well, I want to let you know that that's not only your concern and your problem. There's a lot like that. But I do know that a lot of times, because I ask the right questions, and because there's a progression of the questions where it gets deeper and deeper into more intimacy and sacred thoughts, I'm able to harvest some great stories that maybe even family members weren't able to. Because I said, I want to really find out about this and I want to write it down. Or I want to film you. So if you feel like you can't communicate, yes, that is a concern, but it can be solved. Another frequently asked question is, what do I do when my mom lives here and I live in another city, or I live in another state, or I live in another part of the world? Well, yes, geographically it can be a challenge, but you can arrange for someone to be there with you recording if you're on Skype, or if you're on Google Plus Hangout, or if you're on any one of these new technological ways to FaceTime, to have the ability to talk even though that you're miles apart. Another frequently asked question is, when is the time to do this? That's a good question, because there is a strategic system to figuring out a very good time. The time might not be your time, but if you set aside a time, let's say once a month, to take off from work, or take off from your golf, or take off from your volunteer work, or take off from whatever you're doing, to be right at the time where they are ripe to share, like in the mornings, or just before dinner, not during nap times or bath times. You will find the best time to do this, and ask the senior to agree on that, or ask the caregiver, or ask other family members. Support me in getting the best time to do this. Another frequently asked question is, I understand all of these components, but how do others do this? Well, I have a solution. Right now, all around the world, we are having people pilot the journal program. They're actually doing the journals, they're actually filling in journals, and they're getting fabulous results, way better than I even fathomed. So we can bring all of these great ideas together and share it in a blog, share it in a Plus Hangout, we can share it in a Skype call, we can share it in a webinar. Because I want you to know that you're not alone. This is a time to capture it before your senior progresses into another stage of aging, and this is a time to do it. Otherwise, you look back and say, why didn't I? The last frequently asked question is, why does this journal make it happen? Well, I want you to know that the journal makes it happen because it is a neutral tool. Somehow there's a lot of respect when you say, oh, we've got to fill out this application. People follow it by filling in the blanks step by step, right? Even if it's for the IRS. Or there's a lot of respect and a lot of reverence given to a neutral tool that releases all of the emotions that might be swirling around your own relationship, that engenders sharing and connectivity, that focuses on the senior, that highlights you as being earnest in trying to harvest these stories. All of those components make for a fabulous formula to get this synchronicity going, to get the juices running, to get the seniors to share. So a journal, especially the one that we provide, will give how-to steps for the recorder, will give encouraging words for the senior, and will give a quote to get it all started and rolling. Beautiful quotes by masters of the world, and we'll get some kind of activity to break the ice. So that bonding rapport is a very big step. So just remember, seniors rock. Seniors have something to say. And I wish I was able to show my friend Todd King's family all of her thoughts, her memories, her wishes, her desires, and the way that she wanted to pass on her wisdom for generations to come. Join me now. Seniors rock.